Okay, now class, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Today we are starting chapter number 9, that is problem solving and design. First, we are going to discuss what is a problem actually. According to general definition, a problem is something or any kind of issue that happen during any type of task execution. But according to computer science, a task that requires a system or tool for solution. The basic definition of problem according to computer science that is differs from the general definition, a task that requires a system or tool for solution. Means to attempt any type of task, if you need help of any type of device, any type of tool, then that task is considered as problem, right? Then these tasks can be simple, means very small type of, or complex task, means very complicated. So to attempt any type of problem, we need a proper system. A proper system is required to attempt any type of simple or complex task related to computers or a user's requirement. So now what is a system? Actually, a system is a combination of hardware, software, data, and user. Basically, it is a compound term. A system is a compound term, and the basic components of this system of this term are hardware, mandatory, software, mandatory, data, which will be used inside the system, and the user who is going to operate that system through hardware and software. So these are the four basic components or four basic pillars of a system. And what is the purpose of a system? It is used to solve different types of problems. Different types of problems can be solved, like mathematical calculations, sending messages over internet or through public private networks like Uphone, etc. Comprises of multiple subsystems. It might be possible, or it is possible in some situations, that a greater system comprises of multiple smaller systems, which are known as subsystems. Now, what is a subsystem? A smaller part of a system. A major system or a greater system may comprises of multiple smaller systems. So those smaller systems inside a greater system are considered as subsystems. So we can say that we can take the example of a digital watch, which is only used to measure or to watch the time. So we can consider the watch as a greater system, and it has three subsystems. Number one, hour, number two, minutes, and number three, seconds. These three subsystems are interconnected and used to operate one greater system, that is watch. So basically, subsystems are pillars, or subsystems are smaller parts of a greater or bigger system. The role of a subsystem in a greater system is they are used to attempt one task at a time. Wait a little, class. Okay, now moving forward, the basic role of a system inside a system is it is used to attempt only one task at a time. The purpose of a system to attempt only one designed or given task at a time. That is the role of a subsystem inside a system. A subsystem comprises of subroutines and library routines. These are the two basic types of softwares which are present inside a subsystem. Number one, subroutines, and number two, library routines. What are library routines actually? Library routines are softwares installed in a subsystem available on internet and in markets as free software. These softwares are available freely in online markets and in local markets. You can Wajahat, introduce yourself. Who are you? Within 5 seconds, otherwise you will be removed from the class. So no need to define them to user. Library routines do not require any type of definition, any type of explanation. We only need to buy them. We only need to get them and installed in our system. Different functions already available in different softwares also considered as library routines. Some functions are already available in different types of softwares which can be used according to requirements. So these functions or these options are considered as library routines of that particular software. Then we have subroutines. What are subroutines actually? Wajah, your time is over. Okay, class, now what are subroutines? Softwares, they are also softwares which are installed in subsystems developed by programmers according to requirements. These programs or these softwares are designed at the moment for these subsystems according to requirements by the programmers at the development stage. They are self-developed or in-house developed programs, right? They do not have anything with your markets, software markets. Can be defined as an algorithm, pseudocode, or flowchart. Subroutines need to be defined properly to the user, right? And for the explanation of subroutines, algorithms are required, and algorithms are basically of two types. Number one, pseudocode, and number two, flowchart. Right? What is an algorithm? Basically, algorithm is a set of step-by-step instructions which must be followed or which must be processed during program execution to attempt required task. Algorithm is done on paper and the programming copy of an algorithm is considered as program. So if you are good in algorithm, it means you will be good in programming too. What is the purpose of algorithm? Algorithms are used to define each and every step clearly. The purpose of algorithm is to define subroutines to the operator, to the user of the system clearly. Consisted of two types. Algorithm is basically are of two types. Number one, pseudocodes, and number two, flowcharts. These are the two types of algorithm which is done on paper. It is not done on screens. Algorithms are done or algorithms are maintained on papers. So the next topic is pseudocodes. What is a pseudocode? Actually, it is the textual representation of an algorithm. Pseudocode means you define the subroutines on paper in the textual form. Different keywords or different options or different commands and functions are used to show the processing or steps being followed or being processed by subsystems in pseudocodes. How the subroutine is working, if it is presented in textual form, then that textual form is called pseudocode. What about flowchart? It is a diagrammatic or graphical representation of an algorithm. Not only text but few geometrical shapes or diagrams are also included. Different shapes, geometrical boxes are used to show different steps attempted in pseudocodes, and these shapes and boxes are connected with each other with the help of different arrows. So if we talk about the question in the papers, they can ask you to write down a pseudocode, and or they can also ask you to draw a flowchart. So the command on both topics is mandatory. So today's topic is ending here, and on next class, in the next class, we shall continue the same chapter number 9, that is problem solving and design from the same spot. Right, class?